Αυτή η στάση των πολυεθνικών, ενιαία αγορά στις προμήθειες, αλλά κατακαιρματισμένη στις πωλήσεις, είναι ένα πλεονέκτημα το οποίο προστατεύουν ως κόριο οφθαλμού. Μιλήσαμε με την κυρία Κριστέλ Ντελμπέργκ, την επικεφαλής της συνομοσπονδίας, η οποία εκπροσωπεί λιανεμπόρους και χονδρεμπόρους στην Ευρώπη. Είναι ο βασικός θεσμικός εταίρος για το ζήτημα. Ακούστε τι μας είπε. Madame Delberg, today multinational manufacturers fully exploit the EU single market. They search and they buy from the cheapest supplier anywhere in the EU, but they deny that very same privilege of single market to consumers. They set prices in different EU regions as if they are in a central plant economy, allowing no competition, no arbitrage. Why did this blatant imbalance, so expensive for consumers, has not been addressed in the last 30-plus years of the European single markets? How it managed to stay constantly under the radar?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss very openly about an issue that has been on our agenda for over 10 years at EuroCommerce. I think the current cost of living crisis and the issue around purchasing power and the elections have laid the ground for this issue to be open and discussed very publicly and called for actions to be made and to be heard by politicians.
Now, this agenda is in the center for EuroCommerce for quite a long time. How it's been so far? What is your experience?
Well, our experience has been one of a lot of action. I mean, the issue has been there for about 10 years on our agenda. The European Commission has studied it for many years. The European Central Bank has studied it. There's been courts, there's been competition investigations. The former Italian Prime Minister Enriko Léta, in a report released about a month ago, also talks about the impact of territorial supply restrictions and the importance of removing those practices, those deliberate practices, to remove them to help consumers and to generate a consumer benefit. In our experience working with members, I think the biggest issue has been the fear for retaliation in bringing up the evidence of the situation and the evidence of the manufacturer practices. For a retailer, it is essential to have on the shelf the products that consumers expect to find in your shop, and for them, having an open conflict is a real risk with the suppliers. I mean, the fear for retaliation from the suppliers is a very big risk.
Now, the problem of territorial supply constraints is especially acute in the Greek market and especially painful since the incomes here are slashed after the Greece crisis. I'd like your comment. And in your European Union map, what are the countries, the markets that are hotspots because of TSCs?
So indeed, Greece has been hit hard by the current situation, high inflation, the cost of living crisis, and it is a particular situation. But the issues around territorial supply restrictions and the impact of the cost of living crisis have been taking place in many more countries. The countries that are have been most active on this issue include the Belgian, Netherlands, and Luxembourg area, but also the issue has been long on the agenda in Austria, for example. But today, what is very important is the letter from your Prime Minister to table the issue for discussion in the Council, in the Competitiveness Council. So Greece is taking this to the highest possible political level, and today that Greece is taking this at this level together with a coalition of 7 other countries. So the issue is getting a lot of traction politically at European level.
Do you see that coming into fruition very soon? I mean, some actions that you were expecting to gain momentum right now. What are the next steps that you're expecting?
Well, what we are expecting is Commission action on the proposals on the table. There is today a coalition of 8 countries that are calling for regulation to address territorial supply restrictions and to stop those practices that deliberately fragment the single market. And what we expect from the discussion now after the Competitiveness Council will be the Commission to take the initiative and to make proposals on how to stop those practices.
Madame Delberg, is it realistic to expect change, or the manufacturers, the big manufacturers, will always be able to sway some big national governments to protect their current profitability?
Yes, yes, indeed. But governments have the possibility to propose legislation. The Commission can also propose legislation, and there is the other aspect is the possibility to strengthen competition enforcement. We've just seen the publication and the announcement by the Vice President of the European Commission for Competition, Madame Vestager, who's just announced a fine of up to 340 million euros on Mondelez. The case is covers many countries in Europe. It covers many products. And our hope is that it will send a signal to manufacturers that what we're talking about is not just pure anecdote, it is widespread practice that really needs to stop, and competition authorities are there scrutinizing the market and can take action. So that's the important signal from this case, this very recent case.
Thank you very much, Madame Delberg.